On May 9th, 2022, my wife Samantha and I left Columbus, Ohio to set out on a 6-month trip of a lifetime. My Aunt Mel decided to come along for the first few months of the journey. We headed south to Mount Tadיר Campground on the Nolan River Lake. We arrived just as the sun was beginning to set over the rolling landscape of southern Kentucky. The trip started out with a few minor setbacks, but all in all was a great learning experience. We woke up to an amazing view of the lake. We continued our journey into Tennessee. This was my first time ever crossing over the Mississippi River. We explored Reelfoot Lake and learned the crazy history about how the lake was formed. We were also able to see some amazing birds of prey up close and personal that the state park rehabilitates due to injuries. On the third day of the trip, Mel's Jeep started smoking as we approached Memphis. We drove our motorhomes through downtown to a mechanic shop where we left it to be repaired. We continued on back over the Mississippi into Arkansas, where we planned to camp at Willow Beach Campground in Scott, Arkansas. The campground was beautiful, and we enjoyed a beautiful sunset over the Arkansas River. We found another campground not too far away called Tar Creek, and we decided to set up there and wait to hear back about the Jeep. Samantha and I decided to do a little exploring, so we drove an hour and a half away to Petit Jean State Park. It started to rain when we got close, but we didn't let that slow us down. We saw some great scenery and pretty much had the place to ourselves. This is Cedar Creek Falls Overlook. It's easy to get to. There's a boardwalk. It's beautiful. We were all really enjoying our time at Tar Camp. Samantha, Mel, and myself decided to drive to Hot Springs. It's a really neat town full of history. On our way into town, we saw a tower off in the distance, and we decided we wanted to see what it was. It turns out it was a 300-foot observation tower. Alright, so that costs $9 with the Parks Pass to take the elevator up to the top of the observation tower. My knees were shaky on the elevator because it's glass windows you can see out. I don't love heights, but man, it's worth it. The view up here is amazing. This is why we're doing this trip. Unbelievable views. After a week and a half at Tar Camp, we decided we wanted to change the scenery, so we booked a site at Maumelle Campground in Little Rock. A fellow camper told us about the Big Dam Bridge, so we decided to take our e-bikes and go check it out. It's the world's longest pedestrian bridge. Here's a time lapse of us crossing it on our bikes. It took us only about 20 minutes to ride back to our campground. The next day, Samantha and I decided to go to Pinnacle Mountain State Park to catch a sunset. We realized when we got there that it wasn't going to be the best place to view it, so we hopped in the Jeep and tried to chase it down. We ended up stopping on the side of the road and caught the tail end of it as it set over Lake Maumelle. We got the call the next day that Mel's Jeep was ready, and we drove our Jeep to Memphis to pick it up. Turns out they didn't completely fix it, so we ended up getting a tow dolly, and we took it back to Columbus. We were back in Columbus for about 3 weeks, getting some things together. We used that first trip as a great learning experience, kind of our shakedown trip. We are currently in the Black Hills of South Dakota doing some dispersed camping, our first ever boondocking. It's been quite an adventure. We found an amazing spot, so we've been posted up here for about a week now. There'll be a lot more videos to come, so I hope you enjoyed this first travel video of ours, but here's the view that we currently have where we're at boondocking.